Is this a sign of things to come, or is Texas about to get back on the good foot after the first time in almost, my goodness, it's got to be 20 years? Steve Sarkisian did not have a 1,000-yard rusher with an offense that he was calling. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Texas is due for a running back renaissance in 2026? Doing this segment just days after Quintravion Wisener became the fourth Texas running back to declare he will enter the transfer portal when it opens on January 2nd, and also will enter it without a 1,000-yard rushing season. One of the things that Steve Sarkisian had been so proud of when he got to Texas and went out of his way to tell me when Texas was still part of the Big 12, Bijan Robinson was still in the backfield, is that he likes to run the football and he really loves having 1,000-yard rushers. He's had a 1,000-yard rusher every year, basically since he was calling plays for USC when they won their national championship with Lindell White and Reggie Bush. That year, neither one of them rushed for 1,000 yards either, but it's Reggie Bush and it's Lindell White. And at the time, people knew what it was, right? You had thunder and lightning and you were going to run them both. And as I'm thinking about it, it's really Najee Harris that jumps out to me. Bijan Robinson is Bijan Robinson, but Quintravion Wisener being the SEC's returning leading rusher last year was kind of a shoe-in, I thought, to be the best tailback in that conference and maybe an All-American if the season went according to plan. It did not, right? Texas goes from the preseason #1 team to playing in the Cheez-It Bowl against a Michigan team that is very much in transition and has just hired a new coach in and of itself. So it's going to be two programs that are trying to remake themselves for what they hope is a national championship run in 2026. But I also think this is an interesting time to talk about what these two programs represent as they played each other in the regular season, and they have both made the college football playoff in last year and years past. And Texas made it last year. The year before that, Michigan and Texas made it and could have been the national championship game, right? You get where I'm going with that. But I also think this is an interesting time to observe them, and it'd be cool to watch them play ball in Orlando, Florida in the Citrus Bowl. And if you can, you might consider downloading SeatGeek. And if you do, adapt 10 for 10% off of tickets to see them in the Cheez-It Bowl. You can get in for as little as $43. Like I'm looking at it here on my phone. And for 2 tickets, you can get the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando, the Citrus Bowl, as it were, right? For Plaza 21, row S. I mean, I'm looking straight down the middle here of the goalpost for $44. So if you live there or nearby, I would consider it because it's going to be an outstanding time to watch both Michigan and Texas at a point of transition, right? Where they're trying to figure it out. SeatGeek also guarantees your tickets, and I've used the app. I've had the customer service have to come through for me, and it's been really big and really huge for me getting Billie Eilish tickets for folks that I love in November. And maybe you want to use SeatGeek to help the show. It really does. So if you download it, use Adapt 10 to get your 10% off. And that's not just for tickets for football, but for anything on SeatGeek that you might be interested in. So Quintravion Wisener was returning rusher. And this year he missed 3 games and finished with 597 yards, 4 touchdowns for Texas. And their run game was abysmal. It ranked 101st, which led to the firing of running backs coach and Chad Scott. And Florida running backs coach Jabbar Jalouk enters the fray. Now, the thought there is that Jadan Baugh might not be long behind him. And with DJ Lagway announcing he will enter the portal, John Sumrall and his new running back coach, Chris Foster, are already working really hard to try to keep Jadan Baugh in the boat there. And I think alongside Dallas Wilson, those were 2 of the breakout stars for the Gators in 2024 and 2025, honestly. I think that this could be the beginning of something really cool and special for Texas to be able to get Jadan Baugh in the same backfield as Archie Manning. But That's a big if right now, because I think if Jadan Baugh did enter the transfer portal, he would not just be pursued by Texas or Florida for that matter. He'd also be pursued by any hitter that you can think of, including, I believe, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines, to name two, right? Michigan might be looking at the same guy. He would be the best running back in the portal, eclipsing C.J. Baxter, Quintravion Wisner, Jarrett Gibson, Ryan Stewart, as guys that have already entered from Texas. James Simon and Christian Clark, I guess, are going to be your bell cows if you don't feel anything else coming through. But the bowl game has become much more about what 2026 is going to be and less about how you're going to end 2025 for both of these programs. Many will point to the fact that Michigan has been a program that has been in turmoil for the past 2 years, certainly, and 3 if we want to really start talking about Matt Weiss. 4 if you want to take it back to when Connor Stallions and the Stein stealing really started to seep into their culture. And 5 if you want to talk about what Jim Harbaugh needed to do after 2-4 in 2020 and flipping around 2021. Okay. That over there for just a second. I think we're talking about a team that's really good if they can put all that stuff behind them. And that's what Michigan folks will be banking on, right? They won 9 games last year without a quarterback. They were really good this year with Sharon Moore dating a lady on the staff while being married. Wild. Still not really getting over that one, especially being in it's not such a high profile position is really to undersell the position. It was one of the coolest spots in college football for a guy like Sharon Moore. And by a guy like Sharon Moore, just watch the past segments on this, man. I feel for Michigan fans. I feel for myself, frankly, because sure, not going to get into it. Forget that. We're not doing that anymore. For Texas, go get Jadan Baugh. Go get him. You have a need at running back. The nice thing is that you'll be able to fill that need if you miss on Jadan Baugh, but you'd really like to have Jadan Baugh. And I think one of the reasons that Jabbar Jaluk was hired is to bring Jadan Baugh with him. Now, aside from that, again, there will be other running backs to enter the portal, if not already, right? Gavin Sawchuk, Florida State, pretty decent to good. That would renew the OU Texas rivalry like some fears, kind of like Brendan Thompson some years back. You know, it's not uncommon now to see players change hands and go to the opposing team in a rivalry, just because, to say nothing of what you might be able to snipe off a little bit later or what might find itself in the transfer portal to come. I think that this is really cool for Steve Sarkisian to get to start over with this because, again, the run game not being there did not help Arch Manning. And if the run game had been there, if the offensive line had been right, maybe we're having a different conversation altogether about what Texas is doing. But as it stands, the preseason number 1 in Texas, the preseason number 2 in Penn State, preseason number 4 in Clemson, preseason number 3 in LSU, all end up very much underperforming to standard. And at each one of those spots, I can point to the run game and say, short of Clemson, y'all was pretty garbage. And if you get that flipped around, maybe we're having a different discussion about what you're able to do. Now, some of this needs to be pointed back to, defenses are keying in on you with your new starter or your budding starter and saying, cool, you got DJ Lagway, you've got Garrett Nussmeier, you've got Arch Manning, you've got Drew Aller. We're going to make those guys win the football game. Like Penn State had Katron Allen, Nick Singleton. Now I think about it, and that wasn't the problem. Problem was the offense that Andy Kotelnicki wanted to run. It did not help Drew Aller, who needed to be able to sling the ball downfield and get time to throw it. When the offense they run was not geared to him. And when they were running the offense well, it was around Katron Allen and then Nick Singleton running the football well. These are all things you can fix. With Steve Sarkisian, I think this is more a point of pride for him than anything else. And you're the offensive play caller. And he says, look, that's one of the things I do really well. And that's one of the reasons I'm the head coach at Texas. And going, well, Ryan Day managed to win a national championship, or I should say the only time he managed to win a national championship was when he wasn't calling plays. Now, he has an opportunity to change that narrative with wins against Miami and then in the semifinal and then the national championship, defend his 2024 national championship. But some of this, I got to think, is Sark needing to look in the mirror and go, are you still the guy that needs to be calling the plays here? Or is it time to hand these over to a guy like A.J. Milwee, who's been really great for Texas and knows that offense and that team about as well as Sarkisian does? because being a head coach at this level is more CEO stuff. And all I've been hearing from Sark is moaning, complaining about what the media is asking him about, or what media members are asking him about doing our jobs, as opposed to, damn, if you go win football games, you ain't got to worry about none of that. It's fine.